Well, hello everybody. I'm Irini from Greece, and let me. Okay, so now I think you can see my whole presentation. Well, today I'm going to talk to you about student-centered assessment approaches for real-life language use. Well, before starting my presentation, I would like to introduce myself. I've done my MSc in TESOL and my PhD on testing and assessment, and I am a school owner. We teach foreign languages to Greek students in a town in Greece, and I'm a teacher myself. So I have been teaching English as a foreign language to Greek students for more than 20 years. The last 8 years, I have been using an educational platform for online classes and courses, and I'm a teacher trainer as well. Well, let's start. Well, first of all, I'm going to talk to you about assessment a little bit, how important it is and how we can use alternative assessment techniques to our online classes and face-to-face classes. Then I will show you some materials, some alternative materials that we can use, like virtual tours, in order to assess our students and make our assessment more interesting and engaging for them. Of course, I will show you some examples for how I have used them throughout my classes, and I hope that you find them interesting and useful for your classes too. Well, in the educational context, the term assessment is often associated with testing. However, testing is only one element of assessment. And of course, assessment should include various methods which move away from outcome-based assessment and focus on other aspects such as students' progress and program objectives. Well, in distance learning courses and of course in exam classes, because most English language classes aim at exams, require ongoing evaluation that can assist students and enhance the learning experience. So assessment for learning and not assessment of learning is an approach that provides the necessary tools for ongoing evaluation and makes students feel the teachers support their learning. And this, I think, is necessary and more necessary than ever before, especially in distance learning that we don't have our students in the class. Well, assessment for learning is closely associated with formative assessment, alternative assessment, authentic assessment, and integrative assessment. And in my examples today, I'm going to use all these terms and I will focus on all these different kinds of assessments. Well, alternative assessment methods can not only help learners to improve themselves, of course, this is the first aim, but they can help teachers improve instruction. And this is very important on online classes, since it is something new for most of us. So it is really important to check if the tools or whatever we use in our classes has did what we wanted it to do, help the students, was efficient enough. So I think that alternative assessment is more necessary than ever. So let's see some characteristics of it. First of all, alternative assessment considers learners' different learning styles, and it also emphasizes on real life skills, and that's what I'm going to show you today. And also, it allows teachers to monitor the effectiveness of their method and make changes, as I said before. And of course, it involves students in it. And I will show you today how you can do that. Involve your students in the assessment. Well, when we talk about alternative assessment, the first thing that we use is the techniques. So what kind of techniques we can use? First of all, there's peer and self-assessment. presentations, debates, open-ended questions, conferencing, checklists and tasks, and of course portfolios and many more, and you can use any of them depending on what you want to do and assess on what you want to assess your students. But what I'm going to focus on today is the materials that we use when we assess our students. We can have students' materials or real life ones, more experiential materials, or even materials that can have students can have fun even in the time of assessment. And another aspect of alternative assessment that we need to think of is the aim. So what we want to do with it. Of course, the first aim of assessment is to assess students, to evaluate, to understand, teachers to understand if students have understood the lesson, if they have learned it. But now there are other aims that we can succeed with alternative assessment, and that is fun, for example. I know that it sounds a little bit weird, but honestly, you can even have fun in time of assessment with your students. You can motivate students as well, depending on the materials that you will use, allow them to explore and discover new things while they are assessed, and make it more interesting for them. So what I'm going to show you today and focus on is virtual tours. So virtual tours allow students to experience and visualize from wherever they are, even when they are assessed. And also they encourage students to become active learners and engage themselves to the assessment procedure. Also, this way, by using virtual tools, the students are assessed experiencing real-life content and using personalized materials, making the assessment procedure more meaningful for them. So there can be a lot of different interaction when we use virtual tools, and we really need it, especially in online courses. Of course, there's learner-to-learner interaction when we use virtual tools, learner-to-teacher one, and learner-to-content, which I think is the most difficult one. There are three types of virtual tools that we can use, and today I'm going to focus on virtual tools walkthrough. So the first one is the 360 videos, which they use movement, people and sound to take the audience on a journey or through a story to create a memorable experience and emotional connection. There's the plain virtual tours. Architects use them a lot because they are used to highlight features and smaller details. And finally, they are the ones that I will use today, virtual tours walkthrough, which they create a walkthrough of a place and they provide a smooth experience and allow the audience to get a feel of the place. Well, the benefits of virtual tours for assessment is that they are suitable for different learning styles and levels. They simplify complex problems or situations. They can be innovative and enjoyable for students, and we can succeed higher level of engagement and understanding. Also, the students can personalize the materials they use, they have. They can use their own materials, or they can choose from different materials, even in the assessment when they are assessed. The materials they use, they can be real and not imaginative ones, like in most assessment materials. They can explore and have fun at the same time. And another important thing is that they can be cultural friendly, and by this I mean that they are suitable for multicultural classes, since students from different cultural backgrounds can use virtual tools that are familiar with and make them feel at home, if we can say something like that. Well, I'm going to use three virtual tours. I would like to copy paste them in my chat room for you, I will stop share for a minute. I copy it here. So you can walk through them while, okay, I did that twice. You can walk through them while I explain you everything and I show you how you can do it. Okay, well, let's see the different types of walkthroughs. Well, this is the first one. You can use it with all levels. Actually, I've used a street, a popular famous street in Athens. It is actually close to the Acropolis. It's very touristic. When I did this lesson, I asked my students to visit a popular street all over the world. I had some. I had chosen some for them. For example, Oxford Street in London, or a main street in Barcelona. This one in Athens, and I asked them to stroll around, look around. So you can do it while I show it to you, and I'm going to share that as well. Let's see. Sorry about that. Is that one? Let me see. Yes, that is the one. Okay, so you can see here, it's this virtual tour walkthrough. There are people around here. They can move around. So what I do, before I select the place, I think what I want to assess, on what I want to assess my students. Then I choose the place and I try to see what, how it can help me to do so. So I create the task, I choose the skill that I want to assess, and then I allow my students to explore and walk around it. So what I do is, okay, share, sorry about that, thank you. Well, so what you can do, or what we can do when we assess with virtual tours, we can, first of all, we can assess all skills. For example, the writing skill, we can ask students to write a story, walk around the area and write a story about your day, or write about a day at the Acropolis Museum. You can assess speaking. You can ask your students to do some role plays with you. So, for example, what I did was that you want to move around, but not on foot. So you want to rent a rickshaw. So I am the driver, and you need to ask me information about it. Or you are the people around the area. For example, choose some people and write the dialogue, or tell me what you are discussing about. You can even do some reading. There are a lot of information on the internet, so I used a guide, and I created some multiple choice questions or a quiz for them. And while them walking around, they could do the reading comprehension as well. Also, you can do some listening. For example, there are a lot of listening, there's a lot of listening on YouTube, or there are a lot of information about different things like the Acropolis Museum. So I got them to listen to something about it and answer some questions. Another example, and a different kind of virtual tour, is this one. The next link that I have for you is a library. What this has is that, let me show you. The thing that this tour has is that it has a lot of information as well. So students can not only walk around and move around and have a look, but they can also click on something and read text. So you can easily use it as a reading comprehension, and they can see some more details. So This is, I have used it for IELTS exam classes. It's academic level. So I wanted them to practice how they can move on in a library. So I wanted to assess what we had done in the lesson. So I asked them to go to the reception, and I had prepared an application form for them. So they should fill an application form, or I asked them to do some role play that I am the librarian and they need some information, or create dialogues with their friends moving around the library, and how they are discussed about different places where, for example, they try to find the cafe and what they are talking about it. Also, you can use all this information as a reading comprehension. So I created some questions like, how can you locate a book? So they should find all the information and link them and then answer the question. Also, again, you can assess some listening. For example, I have found on YouTube a listening on listening about a library between a librarian and a student. So I asked them to listen to it. Actually, I have it here, but you can listen to it now. Okay, so they can ask, they can listen to it, and again, you can have a quiz or a multiple choice question for them. Another example that I have is, again, a totally different one. Again, it is a virtual tour. It's a walkthrough, but it has not only information, written ones, but also listening, audio, and videos. So you can use it for more things. And what I would like to show you with this example is that you can also assess integrated skills. So you don't need to assess only the skills separately, but you can assess them in combination. So, for example, let me show share. Okay. Here it is. So this is Anne Frank's room. So you can allow students to explore it, and they will see that they can click on some objects, and they can watch a video or listen to something. So they explain what they used to do when they should be silent in the room. So I used this information. I asked my students, they were really young ones. So I asked them to write about activities that they can do, because our lesson was about activities. So I wanted to assess them if they remember all the activities that we had done and the explanations we were given. So ask them to explain which activity they would do, or suggest what activity they could do in order to be silent, or something like that. Or even I used the room in another lesson for my students to describe it, because we did rooms and descriptions. Okay. I'm sorry, I cannot put my. Let me share it again. I'm sorry about that. Okay, here we are. Okay, so how you can assess integrated skills? You can combine them, so you can allow students to listen to the video that the virtual tour has, and then write something about it, or do a role playing, or let them read a text they will find in the room. Of course, you can guide them where to find it, and then write something about it. Or you can allow them to walk through the room, any room, or the one that you want them to focus on, read think and then write something. So you can do a combination and assess in credits. The last one is again with virtual tools, of course, but what I've done is I have created interactive images out of it. So here, as you can see, and I have not given this link to you, I'm going to provide it now. Okay. Stop sharing. Let me. Okay. I pasted it. If you would like to see it, I have pasted it in the chat. On the chat. So as you can see here, this is let me show it to you. Okay, sorry. Oh, where is that? Okay, here we are. I'm really sorry about that. Okay. Well, as you can see, this is a museum. Actually, our lesson was on arts, and we visited the British Museum with my students. We did a lot of things. We walked around. We described a lot of paintings. We described the museum as well, the place around it. And my students wanted to see the room where the Elgin marbles are, and we had a big discussion about that. And actually, my lesson, on my writing lesson that day, that month, let's say, was on writing about advantages and disadvantages, letters or essays. So we had a great discussion about Belgian marbles and if they should return to Greece or not. So what I did is that I used what my students were very interested about. I printed screen the room, as you can see the image, and I made an interactive image with what my students talked about. So some students said that they are they want the Parthenon marbles to return to Greece, and the reasons why this should be done. And we found some other actually things that people that believe that they shouldn't return to Greece. So I have them in red. So I asked them to look at this interactive image and write an essay about the advantages and disadvantages of this topic. So I tried to make this more interesting for them.
Hi, Irini, I'm going to have to stop you there. We've gone over a little bit of time, and I'd like to leave a few minutes for some questions. So if anybody has a question that they'd like to ask the presenter on this topic, feel free to type it into the chat box. While we're waiting for that, I do actually have one question. I think this is a fantastic idea. But in my experience, I know that some teachers can be quite hesitant to try new things, particularly with technology. So do you have any tips or things we can do to perhaps encourage teachers to try something non-traditional when assessing their students?
How we can persuade them, you mean, to do that?
Yeah, how we can push or encourage teachers to try something new like the virtual tours.
Like virtual tours or something else, something different, you mean?
Well, like in my experience, I know there's some older teachers who would not try this. They would maybe be quite scared or frightened to try to do this.
What I believe is that if we allow students to actually guide us and allow them some room in assessment, then it will be easier for us. That way, even teachers that are not very familiar to technology, they will be able to use things like that, even in assessment or throughout their lessons, because students are really familiarized with this, and they get really happy using all these materials for them. So I think if they allow them to show them how to do it and help the teacher actually to with all this technology stuff, then it will be possible. Because sometimes, to be honest with you, I allow my students to show me how I can do something, because I don't know everything. So I think they know so much more than us. So that is, I think, the key to that. Allow your students to become part of your lesson, of the assessment, of the materials you use. Allow them to come to use your computer and show you how to do it.
We quickly have one more question that's just come through from Mark. Do you have any search tips for finding good quality walkthrough online resources?
Yes, of course. And I have created a list for you today. It is this one. I didn't have the time to show it to you, so you can have the link. I will. And I have some walkthroughs that I have used in my classes. I will have it in the chat box. Sorry, stop share. Here it is. So this is a list of what I have used up to now. Yeah.
Okay, I've just moved that to everyone in the chat box here. Great.
Yes, I have it in chat. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. That's about all we have time for today. What a wonderful presentation. Hopefully, lots of you have got some new ideas to use in your own classrooms. Coming up next in this room will be Pooja Singhal and Vinita Chopra on a topic called Recalibrating Teaching and Assessment Practices, an exploratory study of the perspectives of pre-service teachers and teacher educators and implications for real-life language use. What a long title. Anyway, we'll be back in about 10 minutes or so. I hope to see you there. Thank you.